Alright, in today's video I'm going to be doing an unboxing video as well as a review of these rechargeable LED solar landscape lights. This is a 2-pack and this is manufactured by Whousewe, that is one word, and they are a Chinese company. These are made in China. Like I said, they're solar and they are rechargeable. Something I do like about them though, they do have lithium ion batteries, so I expect these to last a lot longer than the lead acid versions of like rechargeable landscape lights. So I do like that they are lithium ion batteries. Anyway, the cost of these lights at the moment, these are selling for $30 on Amazon. Currently it looks like you can check a box and get a $4 coupon for these. Now, something I do like about these, we'll talk about these lights for a second or two here and then I'll get into the actual unboxing. Something I do like about these is there are two ways to mount these. You can hang these up like above a shed, or you can use the stands that these come on, so you can literally, poke them right in the ground and use them as standard landscape lights. There's no wiring to mess with, so that's convenient. Also, something else I do like about these, there are 4 different lighting modes, which we will definitely have to test at some point after I unbox these, let these charge for a day or two out in the sun. So 4 modes. There is a dim mode, there's a medium brightness mode, a full brightness mode, and there is a gradual breathing mode, which that sounds really interesting. So to me, I think that means that it'll kind of gradually get brighter and then it'll get a little bit dimmer and kind of like go back and forth. I'm not sure how quick that happens, not sure how gradual, but it is cool that you have those 4 different functions, and each one of those functions provides a different amount of battery life. So if you go on the low battery light mode, as soon as the photovoltaic sensor kicks in and says, hey, it's dark out, time for the lights to come on the low mode, it'll last between 10 to 12 hours or so, what they advertise. Medium, up to 8 hours. High, up to 6 hours. And on the breathing mode, like the bright and dim interchanging mode, that lasts up to 8 hours. So 108 LEDs per unit, operating temperatures between -4 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit, so pretty much all climates this will be fine. And it is an Ip65 rating, so I think that pretty much means that they're waterproof. I have had bad luck with these lights coming from China in terms of them being waterproof and really keeping the water out. It just always seems like water gets inside these lights, but this may be different, so not really going to be able to tell. That's really going to be a test of time. So enough blabbering on, let's open up this box and see what's inside. All right, so first off, you have your instruction manual. 108 LEDs per light, waterproof, heat resistant, and frost resistant. So here you have your stakes, your ground stakes. These look like stake extensions, and also your swivel brackets. Those mount directly onto the lights themselves. By the way, all these pieces are plastic. I'm not a huge fan of that. I prefer them to be aluminum. I think aluminum lasts a bit longer. Problem with plastic is these are solar lights, so they have to be in direct sunlight. And the problem with being in direct sunlight, you get a lot of UV exposure, and UV wreaks havoc on plastic parts. It makes them become brittle, lose color over time. So I'd prefer aluminum, but that's fine. Here are the light housings themselves. I'd say the manufacturing is pretty darn clean. Really no complaints there. The lenses really look flawless. Plastic housing. There's your solar panel on top. And yeah, everything looks pretty darn clean on these. Check the other one as well. Again, 108 LEDs inside each housing. I don't see any debris in there. Really flawless job on the lens. Lens looks really nice on these. Biggest question is, over time, will water get in these lights? And that's not something that I can answer in this video. That's something that's really going to be found out over the course of like a year or two. So time will tell with that. But also, looks like you got some hardware here, as well as your mounting hardware if you want to mount this on like a shed. So when it comes to mounting these lights, as mentioned earlier on, you have 2 options. One option is to hang this on the side of a shed, the side of the building, something like that, which that's pretty cool. You just got to make sure that you hang it in an area that gets really good sunlight. So we're going to set up this light to be hung on the side of the building, or you can use these ground pegs and you can set these up to be pushed right in the ground, a garden, side of your driveway, grass. So we're going to set this one up to be pegged right in the ground, and this one to be pegged up on the side of a shed or buildings. Alright, so let's talk about this hinge bracket. So if you plan to mount these lights on the side of the building, the first thing you're going to want to do is take your hinge bracket, screw it on the side of the building where you want to mount it, and then you can take this little hardware kit, which there's just a twist-on bolt and a nut, and then you can put this hinge bracket onto your light, and then it'll just be mounted on the side of the building. In order to install this hinge bracket on the light itself, first thing you're going to need to do is open up one of these little hardware kits in one of these red baggies. Looks like this. In that hardware kit, you will find that there's one hand twist-on bolt, and mine included 2 nuts, I guess, in case you drop one, then you have an extra one. Now this is pretty important to note upon. So with these hinge brackets, notice how this is a bigger angle. This is like wider than 90 degrees, and this one's an acute angle, less than 90 degrees. The wide angle side of this bracket is going to face the lens. So you're going to take this, put it in between the 2 ears, and just line up all the holes. Also, you probably can see right there that on this side of the ears, there's a little hex recession, and that's designed to hold the nut. So you want to put your nut right in there, keep one finger over that nut, flip the light over, take your hand twist-on bolt, put it into the light, and then just twist it onto that nut that we're holding on the other side with our finger. There you go. Now your light is properly installed on its hinge bracket. And of course you can adjust the tension if you need to have the tension tighter or looser. Okay, so if you want to have this mounted on a building, that's all you have to do to mount this on a building. Of course, install it on the building first and then attach the hinge bracket to your light. One thing I will note upon though, if you plan to mount this on a side of the building, it has to be angled down. Like if you look at that, like imagine that was the side of the building. You can't have this straight out, which I don't exactly understand why you'd want it straight out. But you know, just utilizing this box, kind of simulating it being the side of the building, it has to be at least that angle. Of course, you can make it steeper, but you can't just have it like straight out. It has to be angled down, which that's normal because you'd want to put these, you know, somewhere high on the side of a building. But again, you know, you just got to make sure it's in a spot that gets really good sunlight. So the other way that you could utilize these lights are just probing them right in the garden. And you have 2 options. You can use this little peg, put it right on there like so, if you want to have it kind of low in the ground. Or you can actually utilize one of these peg extensions, and you now have a really tall light. So if you have some tall shrubs, perennials, something in the garden that you want this light to sit above, then you can use that peg extension. And I'm going to get my tape measure out right now, and I'll just give you an idea of how tall these lights are right now. From the top of the housing to the bottom of the peg is about, we'll say about 17 inches. So that is a pretty tall light. Another thing I want to demonstrate real quick, or test out, is the photovoltaic sensor. There's a little light sensor inside the top of this light, and it basically senses when it's light or dark out. So right now, this light is on its low light setting, but my workbench lights are on, and that kind of simulates daylight. So if I take my hand and put it over the top of this light, simulating darkness, the light turns on automatically. Remove my hand, goes back off, comes back on. So the photovoltaic sensor in these lights work just fine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these lights outside. I'm going to stick them on the side of my driveway in direct sunlight for a couple days. And I'll take you outside in a couple days and we'll see how they perform. See how they perform in darkness and see if any water has gotten in the housing. All right, so I've had these lights outside for about a week now, and I just have them in some beds up here, and I gotta say I'm pretty impressed with these lights so far. Now, they don't really charge on cloudy days, but you know, that's honestly to be expected because, I mean, they're solar lights. They need sun in order to charge. The light you're looking at right now is on low light setting, and the light to the right is on medium light setting. I normally keep these on medium light setting. I feel like that's a happy medium between battery output, or well, battery life and light output. There's low, medium, and we'll go over these modes in a second here, but just to give you kind of a bit of a comparison, here's the light output of an iPhone. Okay, so that's an iPhone light output, low, medium. So iPhone, it's kind of hard to say. iPhone light output is probably in between the middle of low light output and medium light output, but let's toggle through these settings a little bit, shall we?
So this is low. That is medium. Let's go to high. High output. I mean, these things put out quite a bit of light. It's like the equivalent to a pretty darn powerful flashlight. Like these really light up a bit of the surroundings. And let's just cycle to setting number 4, where it kind of gets dim. It actually shuts off all the way and then it brightens up. My camera's struggling a little bit here. I'm not a huge fan of this. I really don't understand what the purpose of this is. I don't know who would want this, but it can do it. It's kind of neat that it has that function. And then if you want, you can actually shut these off as well. So medium, or no, that's low, medium. Again, I like to keep them on medium, but overall, I'm pretty impressed with these lights so far. Of course, time will tell how the plastic holds up, and we'll see if any water gets in the housings. If any water does get in the housings, I will definitely update in the comment section of future videos. But that's it. That's the review for these lights. Pretty happy so far. No complaints, good light output, and battery life is as advertised. If you're interested in these lights, I will leave a link in the description below, and thanks for watching.